The law firm of Peton and Associates was nestled inside a restored Victorian house on Main Street, its windows catching reflections of the golden autumn trees I'd passed on the drive-in. I paused outside, double-checking the address, half convinced this might be some kind of twisted joke. The message had arrived at 6 a.m. sharp. Miss Sarah Walsh, your attendance is required at the reading of Margaret Walsh's last will and testament. 2 p.m. today. Urgent. It had been 3 weeks since Grandma died. 3 weeks in which my family had completely shut me out. No calls, no funeral invitations, no mention of the burial. According to my cousin Emma's smug Facebook update, I'd been officially excommunicated after what they now referred to as the Thanksgiving incident. That incident, where I finally called out Uncle Charles for scamming elderly neighbors with his shady investment opportunities, exposed Aunt Linda's embezzlement from the church fund, and dared to speak the truth about the Walsh family's toxic secrets and criminal habits. We've already divided everything, I heard Aunt Linda say from just inside the front door as I reached for the handle. Mom's jewelry, the house, the accounts. She wasn't invited for a reason. I stepped inside and found the whole clan gathered like a pack of polished predators in the conference room. Of course, Uncle Charles had claimed the head seat. Aunt Linda was flipping through what looked like property deeds. My cousins, Emma, Bradley, and Jessica, were glued to their phones, likely making mental wish lists with their expected cut. Their heads turned as I entered and the mood instantly chilled. What is she doing here? Emma shot to her feet, her chair screeching across the floor. Get security. I was summoned, I replied calmly, holding up my phone as proof. By who? Charles snapped. We told Mr. Peton you weren't welcome at family events. That's when Mr. Peton himself, a silver-haired gentleman with wise eyes and wire-framed glasses, cleared his throat. I invited her. As the executor of Mrs. Walsh's estate, I have a legal obligation to do so. There must be an error, Linda purred in that oily voice she used when explaining away the vanished $30,000 from church funds. Sarah hasn't been part of this family for months. Mom made that crystal clear after her behavior. You mean telling the truth? I finally said, finding my voice. That's what you're calling disgraceful now? You tried to tear this family apart, Bradley hissed. Spreading lies about Dad's company. It's not lies when 3 of Grandma's friends lost everything to his Ponzi scheme, I shot back. Baseless accusations, Charles said coldly. Coming from a resentful, attention-seeking girl who can't stand to see others succeed. Shall I call the police? Jessica asked, all sugar and venom. She's trespassing. But Mr. Peton stood up and with unexpected force in his voice said, That's enough. Please, everyone take your seats. There's a will to read. There's no point, Linda insisted, lifting her folder. We handled everything ourselves. Mom was mentally unstable near the end. Any will you've got is invalid. I laughed, short and sharp. Mentally unstable? The woman was solving crosswords in ink up until the day she died. You'd know that if you'd actually visited her. Please, Emma scoffed. You weren't allowed near her. We had a restraining order. One you got by lying to the court, I reminded her. One Grandma tried to overturn. Mrs. Walsh's mental state is not in question, Mr. Peton interrupted, firm now. She updated her will 6 weeks ago with me present, following a certified psychiatric evaluation confirming full mental competency. The room fell into a stunned silence. I noticed Charles and Linda exchange nervous glances. Furthermore, Peton added, lifting a hefty stack of papers, she recorded a video to accompany her wishes, specifically to prevent misunderstandings. He opened a laptop and pressed play. There on screen was Grandma, looking weary but fierce, wearing the cardigan I'd knit her last Christmas, the one Linda had claimed she tossed out. Her voice rang through the room. Hello, my dear ones. If you're watching this, I've passed on, and I imagine you've gathered here like a flock of vultures, ready to pick over what's left. Charles squirmed in his seat. Let's begin with the obvious, Grandma continued. Sarah, darling, I know they tried to keep you away. I know about the restraining order, Grandma said in the video, her voice steady and composed. The lies they told, that you threatened me. For the record, the only threat you ever posed was to their secrets and scams. This has been doctored, Linda snapped quickly. She was clearly manipulated. Shut up, Linda. It was as if Grandma heard her. Yes, you, Linda. Sit down and be quiet for once in your greedy life. I'm aware of the missing church funds. I know all about Charles's little pyramid scheme, Bradley's drug dealings, Jessica's identity theft using my name, and Emma's fake designer hustle. One by one, their faces went pale, expressions collapsing under the weight of exposure. Sarah was the only one who ever told me the truth. The only one who loved me for who I was, not for what I had. So let me make my intentions absolutely clear. Mr. Peton paused the video, then reached for the will. Shall I continue with the video? He asked carefully, or would you prefer I read the terms? Just read, Charles said, barely above a whisper. Mr. Peton adjusted his glasses and read. There is only one name in the will. The silence was so sharp it felt like the air had vanished. A fortune just fell off a cliff. That can't be, Linda murmured. Mr. Peton went on. To my son Charles, I leave the stack of Ponzi scheme brochures I pulled from your office trash. Perhaps they'll be useful in your federal trial. Charles's complexion turned from crimson to ghost white. To my daughter Linda, I leave the empty offering plate from First Methodist, along with a letter to Pastor Williams explaining exactly where the renovation fund ended up. Linda opened her mouth but no sound came out. To Bradley, I leave my collection of rehab flyers. I hope you read them before the dean knocks on your door. To Jessica, I leave all the credit cards you fraudulently opened in my name, now cancelled of course and flagged with reports. To Emma, I leave my authentic Hermes scarf, the one you replaced with a counterfeit thinking I wouldn't notice. This is outrageous. Emma cried. She can't do this. To my granddaughter Sarah, Mr. Peton said now with warmth, I leave everything else. The home on Maple Street, all financial accounts, investment portfolios, jewelry, and the contents of deposit boxes 1 through 4 at First National Bank. She is also the sole beneficiary of my life insurance policies and retirement assets. How much is everything else? Bradley asked, his voice shaking. Peton glanced at his files. Approximately $4.7 million. The room erupted. Charles lunged at the table, restrained only by Mr. Peton's surprisingly swift response. Linda broke into dramatic sobs. Emma hurled her phone against the wall. Jessica was already texting, likely her lawyer. We'll fight this, Charles growled. Undue influence. Mental incompetence. Elder abuse. I wouldn't advise that, said Mr. Peton calmly, clicking play again. Grandma reappeared on screen. Let me guess, you're thinking of challenging this. Saying I wasn't in my right mind? Let me show you something. The camera panned to a wall covered in photos, documents, and evidence. Charles, that's your office at night, taking money from the Pattersons. They lost their home because of you. Linda, there you are at the church safe. Bradley, those parking lot exchanges weren't as subtle as you thought. Jessica, I've got every single fraudulent charge logged. Emma, that storage unit full of knockoffs? Fully inventoried. The camera returned to Grandma's face. If you try to contest this, everything goes straight to the authorities. Sarah doesn't know about this evidence, she's too kind to use it. But I'm not. I'm a tired old woman who watched her family decay from within while blaming the only decent one among them. You can't threaten us, Linda stammered. That's blackmail. No, dear, Grandma said calmly. That's leverage. Accept the will and I take the truth to the grave. Fight it and Mr. Peton knows exactly who to send it all to. Your call. The screen went black. Silence. The kind you feel in your chest. I don't want this, I finally said. All eyes snapped to me. Not this way. Not through threats. Don't you dare, Charles hissed. Don't you dare pretend to be above this. You turned her against us. I told her the truth, I said. Something none of you ever had the courage to do. Mr. Peton quietly pulled out another sealed envelope. Mrs. Walsh thought Sarah might feel conflicted, Mr. Peton said gently. She left you a personal letter. My hands trembled as I opened it. Her handwriting was still steady and graceful, so unmistakably her. My dearest Sarah, I know you're hurt. I know you'll want to give them the benefit of the doubt, to be fair, to make peace. That's who you are. It's why I adore you. You inherited the goodness this family tried to bury. But my sweet girl, they've had more chances than they ever deserved. Every birthday, every Christmas, every Sunday dinner was another chance to change. Instead they chose cruelty. And when you finally spoke up, they tried to destroy you. This money isn't about revenge. It's a gift of freedom. A shield. My thank you for showing up when no one else did. For bringing me laughter and tea instead of sob stories and investment scams. Use it well. Build that nonprofit you always dreamed of. Help those Charles harmed. Do the good they never even tried to do. And if guilt creeps in, remember this. This isn't their inheritance. It's mine. They already stole what was theirs, piece by piece, from neighbors, from churches, and from me. The ledger's clean now. With all my love. Grandma. P.S. The new security system is installed. They don't have the code. When I looked up, they were all staring at me. Greed, panic, calculation. Every emotion on their faces but love. Sarah, Linda said, suddenly all sugar. We're still family. I'm sure we can come to some kind of arrangement. Like the arrangement where you banned me from Grandma's funeral? I replied. Or when you told the entire church I was unstable and dangerous. Or tried to have me arrested for sending her flowers. That was a misunderstanding, Emma said quickly. We were just trying to protect her. From the only person who actually cared about her? I cut in. I folded the letter and stood. No. I'm done. Mr. Peton, what do I need to sign? Just these documents, he said, sliding them across. Also, your grandmother made a sizable donation to the Elder Fraud Prevention Fund. She asked for the plaque to read, in honor of Charles Walsh's victims. Charles let out a strangled sound like a wounded animal. As I signed my name, I felt every pair of eyes burning into me. The niece they laughed at for driving an old Honda. The granddaughter they called too soft, too self-righteous. The one they left out, underestimated, discarded. This isn't over, Jessica snapped. We'll come after you. Mr. Peton, I said calmly. Please record that. Jessica just made a threat. Duly noted, he said, jotting it down. Also, your grandmother hired a forensic accountant to comb through all family financial activity from the last 5 years. He called it a little posthumous accountability project. I expect those findings will be illuminating. They bolted, one after the other, hurling curses, threats, and promises of lawsuits as they stormed out. Emma lingered. You'll regret this, she said. Every wedding, every funeral, every holiday. You'll be alone. I've been alone at every holiday since I started telling the truth, I replied. Now I'll just be alone with peace. When they were gone, Mr. Peton helped me pack the documents into a folder. Your grandmother was an extraordinary woman, he said softly. She often spoke about you. Said you were the only one who inherited her heart and her eyes. I sighed. They're awful, but still part of me feels guilty. They're blood. Blood makes you related, he replied. But family shows up. Family protects. Family tells the truth. Your grandmother knew that. She hoped you would too. I drove home in my dented Honda, passing the house on Maple Street that now belonged to me. I thought about the last time I saw Grandma, before the restraining order. She'd squeezed my hand and whispered, "Don't let them dim your light, sweetheart. Sometimes the black sheep is the only one who's not a wolf." My phone buzzed. Messages from Charles, furious. From Linda, manipulative. From my cousins, pleading. I deleted them all without reading. Then I saw the final message. Mrs. Patterson. Heard the news. Your grandmother would be so proud. Tea tomorrow. Maybe I'd lost my relatives. But what Grandma gave me was worth more than any inheritance. She gave me the one thing they never could. She gave me peace. She gave me freedom. She gave me the truth.